God's plan is like a beautiful tapestry, and the flaw of being human is that we only get to see the back end, and we see through the threads, but we don't get to see the full picture. Only God does. Wow. So that made me realize, kind of like realizing that time is beyond what we understand. You know, time is not simply just a clock. Time is everything.
I think that's also why I keep pushing, because like every time I do a new mix, I'm like, I gotta do better next time. Like, how can I do better next time?
And instead of going external, you go internal, and then you start finding things within yourself.
I think writing is a very spiritual process, because sometimes I'll start writing and I don't even realize I wrote so much, and I'm like, wait, I came up with that? Like, what the fuck?
We know what we're writing, but at the same time we don't know, because I believe we're tapping into our subconsciousness in a way that we don't even know about.
Sliding in the studio, my album coming soon. Until we get this rap money, trap gon' have to boom. These bricks and these keys and these zips is what we'll do. If you need some fire, I can see you off the June.
We're vibing, guys. Welcome back, folks. Another episode. Today we got some Miami men out here, some magicians when it comes to the craft with music, and it's dope. I love when I get a chance to connect with artists and get to pick their brains and figure out, you know, what ticks and how the song process works and how being a human works, because there's so much more to life than just making music. But today we got Brent Varela,
yes, sir,
in the building, and then my dog Matic 98, 1998 or 98. How are we
98, but I go by Matic. Yeah, that's right.
My dog Matic in the building today, and we're gonna start because like Matic, it just starts automatic. Is that where Matic comes from?
No, we went to so many names 2 years ago, I think.
I think it was a year ago.
Year and a half ago, we went through many names, and the reason why we went with Matic was because he told me, like, bro, your music sounds cinematic, so go with Matic.
That's dope. That's dope.
And I had many people telling me, like, Mileto, shout out to Mileto. He would tell me, like, oh, like, where you got the Matic from? Nah, still Matic? I was like, that's cool. But I got it from Cinematic. Yeah, that's cool though, because I never connected two and two together, even though I love Illmatic. But yeah, it comes from Cinematic. And originally I was gonna go with the Cinematic, but it reminded me of I don't know if you guys know, but Logic's name was Psychological.
Oh wow, I never knew that. That's crazy.
So he went with Logic because it was shorter. So yeah, Psychological to Logic. Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah,
Medical.
And at one time you wanted to go by Caesar. Did you like Caesar salad? Is that a thing?
Yo, I went by Caesar Raps.
It was in the beginning. It was
Caesar Raps.
Caesar Raps.
Oh, yeah. Caesar Raps. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Caesar
man.
Raps. Shout out Puerto Tropical. Fire order.
Yeah, for real.
With some sauce.
Caesar Rap on the side. You're in the game, my G.
Yo, for real.
I don't know if inflation changes, but before that's like a $12-$13 meal. Chico, you're good.
Yo, yeah, but it changed, and well, it was because it was three of us. Royo, shout out to Gabriel, which is usually how we started the thing.
Gabriel Doja Gabriel or no?
Gabriel, nah, Doja. That's another Gabriel. So we know a bunch of Gabriels.
Shout out to Gabriels out there.
Shout out to Doja. Shout out to Doja.
For real.
Bro, for real, they all vibes, bro.
Gabriels of the galaxy.
But yeah, man, like it was Vibrent, it was Caesar Raps, and it was Royo. And that's how we kind of like started making music. It's been like what 5 years more or less. Yeah. And then we stopped and then came back.
And you guys all had separate artist names. Did you guys have like an overall coalition name, like a faction name?
It was True Crew.
True. No, it was Royal Vibes at first.
Right.
Because we were connecting like my name and Royal's name, and then we were like, well, we're forgetting this guy. So we're
but to be fair though, they started together first because I met him through Gabriel, which he started working at where I used to work at. And then we both started realizing that we like the same, we like hip hop. And they were like, fuck it, I've been writing, but I just did spoken word and I was doing poetry and all that stuff, but I never was like accent wise. Like I didn't feel sure of myself to go ahead and grab a mic and
accent wise. So because of your accent,
my accent, yeah, right.
Cool. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
So the Royal Vibes was the first iteration, but that was just you and Royal, and then
and then I came through.
Yeah.
Matic comes through, and it becomes what was it? True Crew originally.
That was
True
Crew.
Yeah. And is True like an abbreviation or?
It was.
It was an abbreviation. Yeah. I forgot too. It's been
I'm gonna bother them about it in a couple weeks.
Something.
Yeah, True Raps over everything.
Under something.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay,
some shit like that. It was cool.
Yeah, he had like a sword and some shit like that. We were like, damn, it looks cool. But because we were like very inspired by like Wu-Tang and all that stuff, we were just like very into that shit. So that's what we were designing. But then COVID hit, a bunch of shit happened, and then we stopped. Kind of like everybody went their own way. We still kept on hanging out, but I was still writing. I still wanted to pursue those things or whatever. And I think we tried to go back, but then we weren't like in that space. We were all doing different things.
Yeah, that's true.
At some point. And then what got it back, which was funny, was I met my girl 4 years ago, and her dad does music. He does house music.
Wow.
So the way it worked was that he didn't know. I had some songs that unreleased ones that I told him, I was like, look, just send it to me and I'll put them on SoundCloud, and fuck it, let them be. I guess a memory of what I used to do. Fuck it, whatever.
This
let me
is
let
the
it go.
raw SoundCloud.
The SoundCloud, yeah, the one that I had. I have like 5-6 songs, some shit like
something like
from
that.
beats that I just found on YouTube, and I was like, I thought this sounded cool, but I was like, at least I can go back to this and be like, damn, I used to do this. And then
so dramatic.
Yeah, I know, right? So dramatic.
Dramatic. Oh wow.
And bro, I guess I don't know. I told my girl, and my girl was like, "Oh, that's cool. You should try to do that." And I was like, "No, like my boys are not doing it. Gabriel wasn't doing it. Brent wasn't doing it. So we were like, I was like, I don't want to do it without them, So it kind of made me step away from it. But I still kept on writing. But I never went back to like a studio or anything like that. I was like, fuck it. And then my girl's dad found a way. I think to this day, I think my girl was the one that sent a track to him. So I kind of like got mad at her. I was like, bro, fuck, why are you showing that shit to him?
Oh no.
Like, fuck. Yeah, I was ashamed because I was like, damn, bro, I don't want this guy to think I'm hearing, some
Now
rapper
he knows
shit.
I'm Matic.
Yeah, like, fuck my identity, fucking Batman.
Batman for real.
And then, bro, but this guy with another friend of his that they make music, I got home from work to her house, and he was like, hey, my dad needs to talk to you. And I was like, shit, I got in trouble. So the guy, man, sits me down. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, the fuck you mean, what am I doing? He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, man, I'm just, He's like, why aren't you making music? And I was like, I don't know. I just, I don't know how to make beats. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that.
With your daughter?
And he's like, yeah.
I'm like,
I'm like, a lot of shit going on. He's like, no. Stop. I'm listening to just excuses. Like, you know how to make beats. You can learn. You need to make music. Right
wow.
now. And I was like, damn.
That's really cool, man. You got.
Yeah, bro. Like I was telling literally my therapist today that, and also another friend of ours that she sings. I was telling her that if it wouldn't been for that conversation to take place, like it wouldn't. I started making beats on. I didn't know I could make beats on my phone, like making GarageBand. I don't know if you know GarageBand.
Yeah.
I started making. I went crazy. And I was like, man, fuck. I like so much knowledge flowing, and I was like, man, it is possible. So I told her like there was a couple things and issues that me and my girl went through that it could have separated me from her and almost finished things with her. But imagine if I would have finished things with her, I would have never had that conversation with her dad.
Wow.
So none of those things would have taken place. And even after, so I got my shit together, started making beats and whatever, and then I got Gabriel into it. And I was telling Gabriel, like, you look, just buy a regular fucking interface, plug a mic, and fuck it, let's just start doing it. And then by that momentum, my girl's dad started, like, buying his own stuff and making, at the end of, like, what it is right now, his room, on a side, like, my studio and our studio. So from that momentum, this guy got and made a whole fucking studio at his house. That now that's a fucking home base for us, and then now we're all back. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like something small. It's kind of like magical. I don't know.
When you work and you put, your mind to something, and you set a goal, you'll see how life just starts opening up the doors and things just start falling into place.
Bro, it's fucking weird. It's beautiful.
It's manifestation. Not to sound corny. I hate sound cliche and tried and true, but the truth is, it's really like that. And y'all listening, you might not realize it or get it until you experience it yourself, but all it takes is one conversation, and I'm hesitant to say, you gotta, you found the right one, because I don't know the relationship between your girl, but definitely that the relationship's worth it just because of the dad and the relationship with dad and that conversation.
The way that it carried and transcended onto everything, and not to myself, but other people too. It's like, it's priceless. You get me? Like, I would have never imagined, and there's been so many chances of me, like, just like, not, I don't want to say tarnishing relationships, but like so many things that happened throughout. Last year, my family was involved in an accident, and I almost lost my little sister. So that's something else. Like, so many things like that, like tragical things that happened that could have made me stop, but I was so like in the ball. And that conversation was like a whole like mindset switch up. Like, this is it for me. That's what I needed to do. So like it was a pivotal moment of everything. And then even I think with this guy too, like his mindset was like, he was his own thing. But then when I kind of like saw a glimpse of what could be, or like, damn, we actually can do this, this is possible. I think that also like triggered on him to like have fire on him too. And I think like it motivated not only himself, but also my girl's dad too, making music, like it's all like us together type shit. I don't know, like it's just
community, man. It takes a village, not just to raise a kid, but to do things. And you can go far by yourself, but you could go a lot further with somebody right there with you. You know, exactly. That doesn't mean count on them. Like, you know, the gym's a great analogy. Like everybody first starts with a gym partner, and then you realize, I'm just gonna die if I just rely on my gym partner. But the truth is, there's great workouts where you could push yourself extra the days the gym partner's there. But don't count on that person. Be able to have yourself pushing the mirror as your gym partner. But you know, the truth is, we go further when we got that person with you. What about you, Brent? What happened? Talk to me about that phase where you're kind of off of music. Do you have like personal things going on keeping you from music? Is it like life? Is it just work?
It was like when COVID hit, like everyone kind of got like shut down and everything, and I was kind of like, it kind of put everybody in like a funk, you know, like at least for me, like I was just like, I don't want to do shit. Like as far as like music or anything.
You call that a funk for us? For me, as a stoner fat guy, I was just like, this is the shit. Okay. They sent us to work from home. I was like, hey, you know, fuck it.
Yeah, it's just like I would still make beats here and there, but like it wasn't like oh like let's do this and like, and then I was trying to link up with certain people, but like it was never like something solid. So like it was just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Confusion. You know, everything's up in the air. You're like, I'll get back to it next month when things go back to normal.
Exactly.
That turned into next year, the year after.
And things happen.
Yeah, and after that, it was just like a snowball effect. Because once I moved, because I lived with my mom, and then I moved out like last year, and then that's when I built my studio. Because I was like, I need to lock in. Fuck everybody. Let me just fucking be here.
No excuses.
And let's do this shit. Yeah.
Let COVID happen again. You're locked in and you guys are ready
good.
for it.
Yeah, I'm good. Exactly.
It's dope. Preparation. It's crazy how the mind works. It's like a defense mechanism where you just get ready for those days to come. Bro. So let me see if I can remember it off the top without looking at the list. But I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What do all these things have in common? It's when the first Google search ever, the first MP3 ever, Monica Lewinsky giving Bill Clinton top in the Oval Office, Mankind almost losing his life because Undertaker threw him off the roof of Hell in a Cell. A lot of things happened in a certain time frame. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know what all these things have in common?
Like an era.
Matic as well.
Damn.
A lot of things happened in this.
The first Google search.
First Google search.
And the first MP3.
2003. No, 1998.
Oh
wow! Really? Shit.
Yeah, pivotal year.
No shit.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Bro, I thought you were gonna say 9/11. I was like, yo.
That was the numbers. Yeah. Hey, well, Brent, you're good at math. How do you feel about mathematics? My mathematic for mathematics.
Yo, that's wild.
Yo, I actually wrote something. I actually wrote that.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Like that.
But yeah, I thought that was crazy. What part of Venezuela are you from?
Monagas.
Okay.
Which is 3 hours away from the capital, which is Caracas.
Wow, so you guys are close. And is Monagas one of the major cities?
No, it's a small city. It is a small city, and then where I come from, it's Maturin, which is just a small town.
That's the town in it.
That's the town in it I was born. Yeah, my mom is actually from Caracas, and she moved to Monagas because of my dad. And majority of the family that I have left in Venezuela is majority's in Caracas. I have some in Monagas. But most of my family, thank God, is here. Obviously, throughout the years, because I've been here for 11 years, 10 years. So,
okay, I was going to ask, so it's about 11 now.
11 now. 2013, 2014, yeah, around that.
And that's right around the time where I learned of all the political unrest and stuff going on out there. So you guys left escaping that? Is that a part of the relocation?
Well, 1998 was the year where Chavez took over. So that's another year for me. Yeah, so that was the year where like people that were born in my year don't know Venezuela how it used to be. You know, Venezuela used to be I kind of like put it as a Miami where you have multiple people for multiple nationalities. You know, they go like you have Italians. Like I grew up with Italians, Arabians, like crazy. My mom knows how to cook Italian food, Arabian food, and I love it. Like I'm a fan of shawarma. Like people don't know that. Like it's weird for me, but that's cool. Like inside of Venezuela, there was just so many people. Colombians too. Like I had a babysitter. She was Colombian. I grew up with
Venezuela was popping.
Was pop? Yeah, exactly.
Early 90s.
Yeah, it was.
When he was born, I worked at the airport.
Yeah.
We used to ship, bro. I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah.
Truckloads and truckloads of computing.
My
Everybody listening thought that was gonna go somewhere else.
No, my uncle. My uncle from my dad's side, he got married to my aunt. She's Cuban. Ella es de Pinal del Rio, and her father used to be in the militia, and then when the whole thing with Castro happened, they moved to Venezuela. I think when 1980, they were there for 15 years in Venezuela, and they moved to Venezuela. Yeah, the golden era. They were like, "Fuck it, let's just go over there." Yeah, so
I'm telling you, Maiquetía, Maracaibo.
Yeah, all that shit. Yeah,
Nice.
Maiquetía, Caracas. Yeah, and Maracaibo is another pivotal city too, very important city. And then when it happened, 2010, I think Chavez died in 2012. I believe 2012, 2013.
That sounds right.
My uncle and my aunt left from Venezuela to Miami. Right, my uncle that got married with my Cuban aunt, because they predicted that this show was gonna take everything that took place right now. They were like, "We already know this shit. We already know the story." And the story.
Educate me a little bit. I'm not too familiar. So when Chavez first takes over the year you're born, 1998, it goes from a melting pot to.
It doesn't go necessarily like that automatically. It's just that it took time, but the whole promising thing that happened between Chavez and whoever the contender that was taking place, the president at that time, he started promising a lot of things to the people. Like they looked at this guy like he was the savior. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, false promises.
A lot of people connected with what and I'm not into politics, but they connected to like how Trump is like right now, like making it look like he's a savior or whatever. Which
it's more like what Castro did in Cuba. In
yes,
59.
yes. Thank you for correcting me, because I'm not in politics.
So Hitler did. Hitler came in at the time of the Depression.
They're like, look, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. You got to vote for. And that's what he started doing. And a lot of people, even I have some family members that they voted, but early on they said, they started seeing like, yo, this is not the guy. So obviously codicia, like just wanting more stuff. Forget my Spanish coming out, but
codicia is greed.
Greed.
What is
that?
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, greed. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Like getting more stuff and stuff like that. So I started like I think 2000 from my memory 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's when you started seeing like prices going up.
You started feeling it. You started feeling the difference.
Exactly. Like light will go for like 3 to 4 days. Water will go for 3 to 4 days. So people started building like their own generators.
And you're young experiencing it, because the truth is that could have been happening at a smaller scale, but the fact that it's happening at a level where you're being affected by it, you're like, wait,
exactly.
Hold on.
So like
medicine became scarce.
Medicine became scarce too. To a point that my grandfather died because they couldn't find oxygen. That's how he passed.
Sorry, man.
No, man, it's fine. It's fine. It happened, but that's another reason why a majority of my family is here now, because obviously a lot of people, pass scarcity. Not much food, milk. I remember they started mixing coffee. They started mixing wood, like pieces of wood with coffee, just to spread it out. The milk went from being obviously like the milk that I remember that they used to give me and my sister will be like leche en polvo, ground. That couldn't find that anymore. Much of the stuff that we had that was made in Venezuela will be exported, like import, export, whatever, and that will be more expensive. So things that they would sell like instead of selling in the supermarket, they would sell it in the street, and it would be like expired and stuff like that. So things like that we started seeing that the collapse, and then prices. I remember my mom would give me like, let's put this analogy, like $10 to just buy some meals at school or whatever. It went from $20, from $30 to $50 to now my mom telling me like, look, I'm sorry, I don't got shit. And then my mom had a really good. She was a teacher for autistic kids. So my mom has equivalent to a PhD.
A secure,
a secure job, and my dad was in construction, so my dad started seeing like he couldn't find workers because the workers wouldn't want to go out because it was unsafe, and then it was unsafe. Then he couldn't find concrete to do construction, and little things like that here and there. And my dad was like, look, he had a contract with the government, so because he had a contract with the government, and he was in the opposition, right, voting for the left or right or whatever, they wouldn't give him work, like jobs. Wow. So that's already it's politics. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like my dad started seeing that. Then my mom obviously went from making like let's say $50K a year to like let's put $50K to like $30K. you know, or it still made 50K, but wasn't enough to like buy food and stuff like that. And we were in a very good position in like Venezuela. We were okay, you know, we lived stable, and we come from my grandfather used to run the airport in Maturin, like where I'm from. He used to run that, and he used to do a lot of import and export too. But then obviously that slowed down, you know. He obviously retired, so like it was a snowfall effect. And then connecting it to what I said earlier, my aunt with her dad, they were like, listen, we got to get the fuck out of here right now because it's just looking the same. And the word was around in Miami. I think I went to Miami once before that time. The word was around that a lot of Cubans were saying to Venezuelans, like, hey, be mindful, it's looking the same, you know, trajectory looks the same as Cuba. And they were like, nah, it's just, yeah, we've been there, done that, like, get the fuck out, you know. And they were like, no, we're good, we're safe. And my dad was one of them. So my aunt and my uncle, they said, like, fuck this, we're leaving. They left first at 2010. And then my dad was like, look, we're gonna stay, I don't want to leave, you know, where I'm at. Obviously prideful, and he was like, look, I think we got this, you know. And then 3 years later, they were like, you know, fuck this.
You don't want to relocate your family.
Yeah, and the way we came to Dallas, I have an uncle from my mom's side that he moved in 1997. He went to Harvard, and he had a scholarship here, and then lives in Dallas. And we went to visit him, and then we stayed here. We came for 3 weeks, and then within the week, my uncle, my mom, my dad had a conversation. They were like, listen, you know, it's better if I think you guys should stay. They basically created that proposition to my mom and my dad. Like, my uncle told them, like, look, I think you guys should stay because it's not looking good. So they got my aunt, my grandma, all my family that was over there in Venezuela. They got them to sell all their assets, the house, the cars, and stuff like that, to basically, you know, stay here. And then we relocated from Dallas to Miami because originally we were gonna stay in Dallas because my uncle, that's married to my Cuban aunt, they were here in Miami. So we're like, it's better if you guys are both here. You guys can help each other. So we ended up living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was 11 people in there. Yeah. So yeah, we got it done. You know, we got it done. So that became our first apartment because then my uncle and my aunt were in a different time. 2013, 3 years in the country. You already, you know, you got your foot on the ground. You know, you kind of like became stable. So they moved to another apartment, and then we stayed there, and then that's how everything just, you know.
And then,
started.
Yeah, no, you're good. And then so but in Venezuela, you said you were. I've heard it in the conversation with Lady Willie, drop it right here, that you started acting and singing at a young age. That was like in school in Venezuela, or? Yeah,
in Venezuela. Really? From a young age, singing and acting. Singing, not acting, but like being in theater and all those things. Music, yeah, plays. Yeah, cool. A lot.
That is acting.
That is acting. Yeah, plays. Yeah, theater, and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know why. You know, like I've been always into drawing. Drawing is a passion and performance.
Cool.
So like, yeah, I guess it connected, it transcended, but obviously different language.
What are you guys performing in Venezuela? Are you guys doing like Romeo and Juliet, like you know, famous experience type of stuff?
I did. One of the ones that I did was Thriller. From Michael Jackson.
Shit.
My mom doesn't have a video, but I would have loved. They did the fucking suit and everything for me. That shit was crazy.
Wow. So you were Michael Jackson?
That's cool.
Yeah, brother. I was like, I was doing all the moves. So I was like, damn, bro. I was like, bro, fucking 8 years old, 9 years old. That shit.
It'd be great if you could get us that video,
bro.
Yeah, right.
I would love to. I'm gonna tell my mom.
That'd be great.
Bro. Yeah, but that's amazing.
What about you, Brent? What's your early experiences with like art and just creating in general?
When I was originally born in LA, came here when I was like 2 years old.
Wow.
Because my father passed and we were trying to come here.
RP.
Thank you. But we grew up Mormon, so like that was like kind of like my whole world in the beginning and shit.
Like Mormon, no electricity Mormon, or
no, not that's Amish shit. That's Amish shit.
Hey,
Mormon and sister wives Mormon.
Type shit. But it's more like
wait a second.
Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
I need to know a little bit more about this Mormon.
It's like
Mormon culture. Sister wives.
Because that was because they didn't have money back then, so like they would just get multiple wives.
Nowadays you need money to have multiple wives.
Yeah, type shit.
Late to the party.
But yeah, in the beginning it was you know, getting to know the culture of that religion and stuff, and then I ended up being like part of the choir. So like
church choir, okay,
type
cool.
shit. So like then they they're like, oh, you sing pretty good, this and that, and you should be the solo act for this and that. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking nervous. Like, yeah, I was like 9 years old. Like, I still get that stage fright, you know, but it's like, it's different now, obviously, but yeah, it was like my first performance, if you want to call it that.
Oh yeah, your first experience with it. That's dope.
And overall, just I love like singing along to music and stuff, and just I love like how melodies can be created from like a voice, you know, like
it's
it was
fun.
just
it's crazy what we could do with our mouth. No Diddy, but
type shit.
It's crazy the shit you can do, bro.
At least you say no Diddy.
Yeah, for real.
At this point, you gotta beat everybody else to it. You don't want them to say it to you, and then you're like, wait a second. So I just right when I hear it, my mind making the sentence, it just adds the comment.
Catch it.
But,
so go ahead, my bad.
so then after that, yeah, kind of like straight away from that, and then I started going, like when I was going to middle school and high school. In middle school, I had known I don't know if you guys know Nick Garcia.
Mr. De Pinga?
The Pinga, yeah.
My dog, huh?
Yeah. I went to middle school with him. And
wow, that's a crazy connection.
Yeah.
I know, that's insane.
So I remember I had a class with him, and bro would start freestyling, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? What is this? What is this shit? And I remember like thinking like, because obviously I didn't have that freaking bravery to like do that in front of everybody.
To just do it.
Yeah. And I was like, damn.
I can imagine.
And I was like, damn, I can do that too though. Like, you know, like
little do you guys know. It's like the meme where the couple's on the wall dancing, and then there's the guy in the background, like little do they
I can do this too.
That's hilarious.
So that's what kind of got me into like looking into like hip hop and stuff, and then because my brother, I would listen to like music that my brothers would listen to, and they would listen to like rock, R&B,
like
all this other stuff.
Rock,
like Linkin Park.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's like more punk, like that's dope.
System of a Down, shit like
that's
more
yeah,
modern.
it's more modern. Yeah,
classic rock. I'm thinking like Metallica.
Metallica, yeah.
What do you consider punk then? If that's
punk
not?
is like Suicidal Tendencies, Bad Brains, like the faster early '80s stuff, late '70s.
Bad Brains terrible. Never get Bad Brain, guys.
Bad Brains is fire.
No, shout out the band, but Bad Brain.
They were black punk rockers.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Shout out Bad Brain.
So then after that, I actually met this one guy that I ended up like, because I was like a super like hardcore weed head back in the day, like in high school and shit. And I was still like kind of involved in the church, like with Mormon and stuff. So we would have like camping trips and stuff. So I would go to smoke hot box of 10 and shit.
Camping.
So I met this one guy, and he started showing me all his like music and stuff, like his music taste. You guys are camping
in Florida?
Yeah, we were camping in Florida.
Where do you camp in Florida?
It's everywhere. Like you can camp down here, but we went north. We went
north,
like
that's what I'm saying. You got to go up to like the forest.
Yeah. So then he just started showing me a bunch of music and stuff, and I started like, all right, let me download all this music because I want to like explore. Yeah, exactly. And he actually introduced me to I don't know if you guys know Flapper Zombies.
Yeah.
So I started listening to them like crazy. So I was like, I fuck with how they sound, how their wordplay, all this shit. And I was like, okay, I need to start writing like music now.
That's a great like introductory artist because they have such a mix of so much.
Right.
Hip hop, and they have a lot of influences like
there's
rock
musical,
and hardcore.
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Crazy. That's
and I think that's why I gravitated towards, because I knew so many different kind of like genres already growing up. So then I started writing in high school, and then like, but I didn't have anybody to like, I didn't know about YouTube Beats. I didn't know about anything like that. I was just like, I have songs like written, but I don't have any beats to like rap.
You're writing a cappella, or you're writing to like popular
I was rapping a cappella, like I was just
just
doing random shit. Yeah, and then eventually I discovered YouTube Beats and stuff, and I started writing to those. And then from there, I just started trying to like connect with people in my school, like, oh, do you guys have like a mic or some shit, like and then
while you're in high school?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah,
wow.
it's like towards the end of high school is like when I started like meeting people and shit, and then that's where I met Royo, like officially, because I knew Royo as well in middle school, but like we didn't become friends till like junior year of high school.
So you guys had more relationship then, and the music brings you guys really close together.
Yes.
And then you guys meet after high school?
Yeah.
I met him through Gabriel, because Royo. He worked
at work.
At work, yeah. And then he introduced me to him. And then
Is on some music shit? You guys just got introduced like, yo, I got my dog.
No, just like friends.
Yeah. And then we all started like obviously gravitating towards like our own sound, each other's sounds of music.
That's even cooler. It came up naturally.
Came up naturally, yeah. And then I ended up, I moved for like 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah, you went to.
I went to Kentucky.
Yeah.
I moved. I just moved. I was like, fuck it. I was having a lot of issues at my job, at my home, and I was like, one of my friends was like, yo, let's just move. Have a spot in there. It was cheap. And I was like, fuck it. You know what? I was 18.
So you're saying you wanted to move to Kentucky because work, you said?
Yeah, work. And then I had one of my friends was like, look, they're paying more over there also. And, I found an apartment super cheap. I think the rent was like $800. I'm not lying. Like nice. 2 rooms and 2 bathrooms. And it was really spacious. But like, fuck it. And then coincidentally, we had another friend that from Venezuela. Because that was the friend that told me, let's move. Was a friend from Venezuela, long-term friend, and then he had found out that another friend of ours that we went to school with in Venezuela was in Kentucky.
And you guys all moved like at the same time, like from Venezuela to the States, or just that happened
randomly, little by little, as the years went by from 2010 all the way to 2020 or 2018. A lot of people started moving.
The influx, yeah.
Yeah, so like I was one of the first ones that left from the people that I know, and then 14, 15, 16, 17, you start seeing people going to Italy, Peru, Chile, Argentina, like everywhere. Like
outside looking in, I'm born and raised in Miami. Like the last couple of years, we've said it since like right after I graduated high school, 2013, that the Venezuelans like took over the Doral, Dolphin Mar. Like that's
bro. Like when I got here and I got to my school, because I went to Core Park. When I got there, bro, it was, and I say this every single fucking time. When I got here, my first day in school, I heard people speaking English and I thought they were fucking aliens. I was like, yo, the fuck they talking about? And then they were saying Acere, and I thought Acere was a name.
Like who is this guy?
Yes, yes. I was saying like, yo, what the fuck? No, at some point I thought everyone's name was Acere. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I got home, I was like, Mama, I don't want to go back. Fuck this shit. What the fuck?
They're talking about this crazy ass guy.
I don't know what's going on, bro. But I say that to say that there was no Venezuelan. Like I saw a few. So like I knew, I ended up finding a group like 3 to 5 people, and it was like Colombians, obviously, from Guatemala, from Peru.
You're Guatemalan?
No, Honduran.
Yeah. And it was like, bro, it was like little tribes. Like every table, like in the lunch break, every table was bro. And then like as the years went by, because I was just there from 10th grade all the way to 12th, I saw that like more Venezuelans came in, and now it's like, bro, it's fucking Venezuelans everywhere, left to right, bro. But whatever. I would say that all that to say to the story was I ended up moving. And a lot of shit transpired and it happened, and then I ended up being not forced to, but I was like, fuck, you know what, I'm gonna go back. These guys thought that there was gonna be the last thing that they saw from me, and before I came back they were like, yo, we got a plan, let's make a studio, let's make music. And I was like, fuck it, let's go back. And then I went back and we started making a studio. It was supposed to be a shed, and then it ended up being a shed. I ended up being at Gabriel's house. Their parents, his parents let us get a room. It was like his office that he had.
It was like the office room. Yeah.
This is the first iteration of Vibrant Studios, or no,
it was more like
our studio.
Yeah, it wasn't like
it was at his house. It was his house. So that's what kind of like got us started to like having a studio. And then we were there for a year and a half, 2 years before COVID. Mm-hmm. So this was what, 2018. No, COVID hit when? 2020. So 2018, late 2018.
Yeah, some shit.
And then 2019, and then 2020, COVID hit. I also got into an accident.
Take the break. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Car accident?
Yeah, bro. I fell asleep behind the wheel.
No way.
Yeah, bro. So I think from there on, I think that was everything was like snowfall. Because then after that, COVID hit and everything else. So I think that stopped us. Because obviously I didn't have a car. I was living in Exit 2, and the studio was in Kendall. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can't drive over there.
West Kendall on that.
West Kendall. So
like, by Mikasuki type shit.
Yeah. So and then we all started like we had the momentum, and then we stopped, and that momentum started like going down, and everyone was like, all right, we're kind of like not doing this that much, so let's just we let the foot of the gas. So little by little we went everywhere.
Educate me with you and your comfortability with English in And basically, because you learned it through music, you learned it through rap.
Yeah, in essence. So when I got here, I knew basic stuff. So like 2013, and a canon moment that took me to over the edge was that I was in biology class, and yeah, but shit was like, this shit hit me, bro. This is like shit changed. They put me to read this they were just picking people in the class like, oh,
to read out loud.
Yeah, to read out loud, and they put me to read a chapter on lightning. I remember this shit, lightning and thunder, how it was created in the clouds and shit like that.
Banger.
That's hard.
So that's a great fucking topic, and I love biology and history, but I couldn't pronounce lightning. Bro, I don't know how I said it.
How would you pronounce it?
I don't know. I don't remember, bro. But it was so embarrassing because like everyone was laughing at me, bro. And that shit was like,
wow,
fuck this shit, bro. I'm gonna come back next year with like no English. So I took the summer of that year. I think it was 2013. End of 2013, not the summer, because it was the Christmas break. Towards 2014, I went on this fucking rant of like listening to jazz, reading all the lyrics. Bless you.
Thank you.
I was already listening to a little bit of Eminem, but I went hardcore.
You're just
Eminem.
listening for music. You're not listening for the lyrics and breaking down the words and like.
I was listening for back then I was listening for music, but this time I was like, let me go.
It's different when you're trying to break it down. Like,
now
I dreamed of Rap Genius when they finally came out with that.
Yo,
at
for
the end
real,
of my high school years, I was like, bro, I've been dying for this. I would go to like the corny lyrics websites and then I'd have a different tab. Or I'd be like, okay, what does this mean? And that Genius website was
the way that I went with it was like, I will go in Genius and I will write the lyrics from every song. And then I will be like, okay, what does this mean? So like, kind of like help me get the dialect, and I will have Google Translates, like just basically like play this. I will play the song, hear it and say it. So by the time I went back to school, like I was already speaking English fluently.
Do you find this with Spanish? Because with English, it's like a lot of terms and phrases in English don't translate directly in Spanish. Like it sounds silly. You sound silly. Yeah. Does that happen? Did you find that Spanish to English, or it's more direct?
I feel like with English you can be a little bit more scattered. I feel like with Spanish, well, at least how I see it, right? I think with Spanish you can be more dialect driven. If you decide to, you can decide to be in English very not dialect driven. Like, you cannot kind of like when you compose a sentence, you kind of like can just go quick.
It's all about tone, but that's English. So much gets lost with tone.
Yes.
Pitch. A lot of things. The same sentence could be said
in different ways.
So many different ways, and it could have so much different context in English. But it's crazy because that's how Japanese and like Mandarin and like there it's symbols. And it's like it's straight to like this is what this means. This one symbol means a whole sentence.
I've been trying
crazy
to.
That you look at it like Spanish could be all scattered, but the truth is it's real direct.
Exactly. And then now I've been trying to study Japanese, like learn the language a little bit. I've been seeing how Japanese and Spanish are actually, well, if not connected, as far as pronunciation.
Neon? How do you say neon? What am I trying to say?
No,
how do you say
ni hao?
Ni hao. That's
right. Mandarin. That's Mandarin.
Oh, that's Mandarin. Never mind.
Yeah, ni hao is Mandarin. Let's say, I think it's hello, how are you?
Shout out China if you're listening.
I'll
take a check right quick. I'll be a Chinese.
That's Japanese.
Yeah, konnichiwa is
Japanese.
So, but I've been seeing like so now it's hard for me to like switch my brain from English to like Spanish so I can connect to Japanese because my brain is obviously in English.
I was gonna ask you that. What are you thinking? You thinking English or you thinking Spanish?
I think it's English now.
Now,
yeah, but back then I can see myself within the year I was thinking in Spanish, but now it's like.
Do you curse? Like a veces does the Spanish take over you? Like Venom?
Like fucking Transformers. It does. Like when I get like certain situations when I get very serious, I want to drive into like my mom, that type of shit.
Like a parent, like they'll say your name
like
in
fucking
Spanish,
like the whole fucking name.
That's
like
cool.
that.
So like when you like, oh okay, that's
yeah,
crazy.
with anger like that. But I feel like right now more than anything because once I started writing and all that stuff and whatever, like I think the English part did take over fully. And then obviously, in my head I was like, I need to think in English. I need to, like it's necessary.
For this.
Yeah, exactly. So like 2013, 14, 15, I was already picking it up. My teacher, my ESOL teacher, I went from, I think it's 6 or 5 grades in ESOL. I went from the first one all to the 6th. And then my teacher told me, like, look, there's no need for you to be here. Like, you already know everything. So I was like, fuck, that's awesome. She took me out. Because I was already, like, the people that were with me, not to discredit them, but there's been people that were there for, like, 5-6 years that didn't know no English. Like they were still like not
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle, yeah. And then obviously you don't know that person has never heard English in their life. At least myself, I had heard some, but it was all gibberish. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but
no, you good.
English is supposedly like the hardest language to learn if you
don't
speak
language.
it.
English is made up of all the other languages too.
Yeah.
Like, it's a crazy thing that the settlers and
it's like a mix of like German and Italian.
It's messed
Latin,
up. That's literally how English was invented. That people just kept getting all the languages wrong and mixed up, and then they were just like, let's keep it
make our own.
Yeah, but that was crazy.
But I feel like Spanish is like a really good language.
Man,
as far as structurally.
I love this conversation so much, guys, because I love the English language. I think in English. I have such an understanding, and I could speak in Spanish, but I feel like such a virgin with Spanish. I sound retarded. Like my family makes fun of me. They call me a yo no sabo kid. That's not the case.
Right.
Yo me puedo defender, and I'm in sales. I make sales in Spanish.
Right.
Pero the truth is, I've realized now in the last 2 years, my issue is I get in my head, and I understand English in such a crazy way. I'm so far from that in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And I think I just overthink everything. Yo pienso mal en todo. And yeah, there's sure a bunch of words that I don't understand. But the truth is, it's not just about the words. It's just I get stuck on the fact that I don't know the words and everything halts.
Yeah.
But when I'm flowing, I'm
flowing.
Pero exactly.
Yeah, kind of like let that, your English in the back. It's like, I got to take over because I got to save you.
And the truth is, English is like I was saying, it's so deep and so advanced, truthfully, it could be right. Tone with acting, like I write scripts and shit. So it's like, dog, like, what if you're writing like a sneaky character? What if you're writing like a Professor Snape character? Like, there's so many ways. Deep, what if you're writing like the Big Brute? Like, English is so deep, and universe in general, and language in general, it's just crazy. So, I hearing you guys relate to the reverse of it. Spanish going into English is like, coño.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I think like, I don't know, like the Spanish within in my head, I feel like it slows down. It's a more slowed down persona that I got now, viewing both separated. But within, it helps me. I don't know, I feel like I'm not fully stepped away from the Spanish. It's always in my head. But something Venom. It's there, fucking we are. But I think like something that they've been, not himself, but Willie's been telling me, my girls told me, Milero, shout out to Milero too, like to write in Spanish. I feel like I'm more than capable to write in Spanish, but what comes out is in English. I don't know why. I don't know why. You know what I mean? And it's fucking weird because I'm like, fuck, like it should come out in Spanish. And I feel like more than capable.
It doesn't come out naturally, or
it doesn't come out naturally. But I do know that if I wanted to do it, I just have to set my mind to it, and then obviously separate myself fully. I'm gonna try it.
So what's the writing process like? Are you writing everything a cappella first, or let's say you get a beat. Let's say the situation where you guys are vibing in the beat, vibing in the studio. A beat comes on, like you settle on a beat. You're like, yo, let's work on that.
Yeah.
We'll kind of just say, shut up. Play a beat on repeat.
When it works, it works. No question. And go.
Yeah.
So, what goes through your mind? Are you looking for harmonies? Are you trying to find like a powerful line to start the verse? Like what are you trying to figure out?
Honestly, with beat wise, it's just I
pass the beat. You figure out the beat and you know where the beat's going. Whether it's something like ready set go,
right? Ready set go.
That, or if it's something like blow, or if it's something like the unreleased record you just played. That's more player.
It's just listen over and over and rinse repeat. Like literally.
But
just hear
listen
it out.
until what? Listen until a harmony comes in your mind. Like
not a harmony comes into mind, but it's the first.
First line.
First line.
Yeah, first line kind of like
the cadence. Yeah.
The first line.
Rap, you're thinking rap first.
Yeah, rap
right,
first. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the first words, and it's like, okay, I got this, and the first one is the hardest one always to come up with, and me personally. And then that once I get the first one, and
everything writes itself.
Yeah, everything writes itself. It's just it flows.
Yeah,
sometimes it's beautiful, and it's like you hear it, and it's like, fuck it, they just start writing or whatever. But sometimes it's just like I write a word, and it could go like 1 or 2 days without writing anything else, and I just keep on listening to it. I was telling him, like, he was like, oh, I kind of want to write more. I said, you got to listen to it. Listen to it, you're in the bathroom. Listen to it, you're at work. Listen to it, just rinse.
Yeah, rewrite things. I have things written for years, and I just come back to it. I practice it, trying to get the delivery right, and I realize, oh, wait a second, this bar is a lot better than this. But yeah, that's cool. I just want to see how the brain works with figuring it out, because at first it was figuring out with a powerful line first. I look up to Fabolous a lot. Fabolous is one of my favorite rappers, and like every bar is like there's no wasted bars. Every bar is an Instagram caption.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you know, like that's for a long time I would be like it's about the bar first, and now my mind works a little bit different. Now I'm working on the harmony. Now I'm working on the I'll damn near freestyle the whole song just without a word. I'll just trying
to get the tone,
and then eventually it circles back around, and I start figuring out the powerful line that goes there. And then nowadays I'm thinking, where's the powerful line for the chorus? Because now I'm challenging myself to like stay on a theme and just as an artist to push myself. At first it starts with just braggadocio rap and just rapping about yourself, and then eventually you try to stay on theme.
You evolve, yeah.
And then that's where the best stuff comes, bro. Like you're right. I got teary-eyed listening to the God. You know, God doesn't make any mistakes. God don't make mistakes. Like it's you push yourself as you grow with it. So it's really cool. Just kind of nerding out.
Yeah. No, but it's true though, because like when we started it was like you said it, braggadocious. You just experimenting.
A lot of us do. I think everybody does.
Yeah, but you got to. I mean, shit.
Yeah, because you don't know where you're doing at first.
Yeah, that's what we see. Everybody.
What we heard.
Then,
so we just copy
instead
that.
of going external, you go internal, and then you start finding things within yourself.
I think writing is a very spiritual process because sometimes I'll start writing and I don't even realize I wrote so much, and I'm like, wait, I came up with that? Like, what the fuck? Like,
I was telling him and Gabriel, we were hanging out the other day. I was like, I feel like we're writing, and I feel like when people start, when like I guess artists or whoever writes, whether it is poetry or spoken word or whatever, we know what we're writing, but at the same time we don't know, because I believe we're tapping into our subconsciousness in a way that we don't even know about. So like within myself, when I write, it's like I see shit that I wrote and I'm like, damn, like I didn't know I wrote that shit. Or you know
what's crazy? I just heard Pharrell say this. It's not ours. It's not yours.
It's not yours. Yes, he said that. Yeah, it's not yours.
It's just the universe right now channeling an energy through you.
Yeah, it is.
You're just a weapon. You're just a tool that the universe is using to get the idea out to the world. It's your choice to put music, to put the gym on hold, to put work on hold, to put the podcast on hold, and say, hold on, let me just get this bar out, let me get this harmony out, let me get this idea out, let me hone in on this. Like it's our choice to do that. Like I'll have a whole J roll, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna spark you till I finish this verse, Like,
nice.
I choose to do that. There's another version of me in another universe where I like to join, and then I get distracted and I start watching the sports game, and then I start thinking about the podcast, and
it's all roots and shit. Like ways that you could have gone and shit like that. And I feel like that's like today. I usually get to record from 1 to 6, and like my days off, Mondays and Tuesdays. And I was like, all right, I'm not gonna. I need to cook. I need to do this. I need to do that. But I'm not gonna leave this room all the way till I finish this track. And then, but I could have, or I could have just chosen not to do anything at all and just sit on the couch and just just fucking
play video games or some shit.
Just stay on my phone or look, shit like that. It's all like how you said it. You could have smoked that J, but I was like, you were like, nah, you know what? I'm
finish this shit.
You changed my life yesterday. What happens if what happens if you have a 2-week notice? If death gives you a 2-week notice, if life gives you 2-week notice?
Damn. And you got that from
you.
Yeah.
And it's
life, because life don't give you 2 week notice.
Doesn't. And the truth is, I heard you say that, and it's like,
that's so true though.
What happens?
None of us are that lucky. It's like, I feel live like you have a 2-week notice.
I was telling I was telling her yesterday that I feel like one of the projects that I want to come up with, and the motif is God's tapestry. So I heard this in a show was. That God's plan is like a beautiful tapestry, and the flaw of being human is that we only get to see the back end, and we see through the threads, but we don't get to see the full picture. Only God does. Wow. So that made me realize, kind of like realizing that time is beyond what we understand. Time is not simply just a clock. Time is everything. And like just those little things that we don't get to see the full picture of. That as we grow, we get older. Obviously, we obtain wisdom and knowledge more than what we had before. I feel like I want to be able to tap into those things. How you said, death don't give 2-week notice. If I knew that when I was 15, 16 years old, I'd be much powerful, not wasting time. And, like things like that. Time is a beautiful currency.
It takes the accident. It
takes things. Yeah, it takes things.
Your family going through it. It takes losses of friends and family members.
It does. It really does.
Make a change. I wanted to ask, did you, because that's a real personal song, and like you're very cinematic. Full circle. You're very cinematic in that record about like the experience of losing a loved one, and then especially at a time through COVID. And did you experience something like that firsthand?
Yeah. So like I had 3 people that passed overseas, and it was kind of difficult to like process through that because like it's different when someone passes, like when you're I don't know how to explain it. Like if you were in the same city and someone passes, or let's say yourself or like myself, let's say a cousin passes away, I'm able to go ahead and go to their grave and
locally, somebody locally, yeah,
you can go see and stuff like that. But it's different when it's just a call and then you don't get to see that person, or you haven't seen them for a while. It's just like, hey, such and such passed. So it's like there's no closure. So your body or your brain, I guess, doesn't know how to wrap his head around it. So like the first thing that happened to me was I lost one of my best friends. His name was Ricardo. He had cancer, and then he passed, and I hadn't seen him for like I want to say 5-6 years, and then they told me he passed. It was like my body didn't know how to, or my brain, as is both of them, didn't know how to comprehend that conversation, because I was like,
I thought he was good. So he had been passed out for like.
No, well, I knew he had cancer, but I didn't know he passed, and then he passed like two days later after he passed. They told me to notice like the news.
So you found immediately. Okay.
Yeah, I found immediately. Yeah, and then I was like, damn, like it took me a week. Man. Yeah, no, bro, that's fine. I mean, he's in a better place, bro. Yeah. And then I had that same year I had an aunt that passed from she had something in her head, like in her brain, and then she passed. She's already been dealing with that, so she passed also. It was just another call, and it's like, damn, like that another person I don't get to see. And then my grandfather passed, and I was like, fuck, like, and then I remember like myself, I couldn't be, I don't know, it's weird because I wouldn't be like, my emotions wouldn't come out in the moment. It would just be like I'm driving and I start crying, or like I'm, like, because your body can't comprehend. Doesn't comprehend.
To process the emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly how to do it.
It's like your body.
Get a chance to grieve.
Yeah, your body is like taking that call like it's just a fucking random Tuesday, and you're like, all right, fuck it, whatever. Let's just move on and shit. So like, I think that's where that all those things come from, and even seeing family members that I haven't seen for like 9-10 years, like even hanging out with them, your body's on this American. Like, oh, like time, I gotta work. Yeah, right. And then you spend time with them, and then when they leave, you start crying, and it's like, damn, why am I crying? Because I know I don't know when I'm gonna see them again. It's like little things like that, that it connects to the whole time thing that I'm starting to fully comprehend right now at 26. I wish I freaking understood that shit at 23.
It's a great perspective, man. You're well off. There's people that are 30, 40, 50, 60.
You're right.
God knows how many years old and don't even. Begin to think of seeing it that way. So that's powerful, man. I'm sorry to make the conversation get a little
bit bro. I mean, it's beautiful, bro. It's beautiful.
It was a good record, and at the end of the day, we're blessed to have music and art to be able to express ourselves
and put it on wax.
I can't imagine a world where I don't have that. It's just,
I mean, if it wasn't for that song, you wouldn't have had that emotional
or that closure. You get me? Because you're kind of like putting it in a jar. Magically, you're sealing it, and just you'll be able to look back in its memories. When I did Personal, which is the first record that I put out, that a few days before I did that record, few days after, before my parents got into that accident that I was saying, like they were just parked, and then someone came from the back and they just slammed them, and then my parents, thank God they had a van, they were in the front. The van has 3 rows. So my parents were in the front. There was no one in the middle. And then my sister was in the back because she was just like to hang out. No. And then she took all the hit. So she got both legs fractured. But, it was close to, death, basically. She almost lost a foot. Thank God she didn't because she loves running and, football and all that stuff. So, but that kind of like, I don't know, that's another emotion that I can say like within Personal. And
it's a wake-up call.
Yeah, it's a wake-up call. But it makes you, again, I didn't know how to put those emotions out, and the music helps, put that emotion out and just kind of like channelize it and put it in a bottle.
It's like a journal entry type
It is, yeah.
And you mentioned your therapist. When do all those things happen inspire you to go to therapy? When did you start going to therapy?
I think that was another pivotal moment that inspired me to go to therapy. Issues within my relationship, which now, thanks to therapy, has been helping out. So I encourage everyone watching this, and I've encouraged him too. Therapy, I think with insurance, if you have a job, it's like $25. That $25 can save your life. I say that hands down. Therapy, you got to talk shit. You got to talk your stuff, take it out. I believe it has helped me. At some point, I thought it wasn't helping me consciously, but subconsciously it is, because it's just a conversation. Sometimes all we need is just a conversation. And then you can't rely, how you said it, you can't rely on your friends or your family, because they got their own shit going on too. and you're paying that person to. It's a professional.
And they're looking at everything through a certain filter and a lens of you that, might not be conducive or constructive to just you venting. Because that's the key about therapy sometimes. It's not even about the advice or anything. It's just letting you talk.
It's just like let it out. Like speak
having
whatever
someone actually listen.
Exactly. Just listen. Just sit down and listen.
You started therapy too, Brett?
No, I pretty much internalize it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I
put it in the bars.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I guess that's an outlet for me, and sometimes I just talk to myself. Like I make sure that I'm talking to grow myself, not to like just run in circles. That's kind of like my method of like surviving.
Of how you talk to yourself too, though.
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to put myself down.
I used to bully myself so much.
And
now at 30 years old, I'm starting to realize let's be a little nicer to myself.
Give
myself.
You gotta love yourself. Exactly.
I heard somewhere that I think it was in the podcast named Andrew Huberman. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, Dr. Huberman.
Yes. He said that he has someone else. I can't remember his name, and he said that guy's his therapist told him that he should talk to himself as he would talk to a friend. And then the exercise that he put to him was every time that you get conscious, every time that you start getting into that mindset of just negative talk, negative self-talk, go ahead and record yourself, and then just a regular voice memo or whatever, as if you're talking to a friend. You're sending a message to a friend.
Crazy you
you're right. Yeah, like just like hey, Brent. I know that you're like, what I mean, like, and then you listen to that obviously and be like, okay, this is actually, or writing stuff down, whatever thought that you have, whatever things or thoughts that you're having, just write them down. Literally, just be conscious about it. Read them. That's helped me. Writing whatever. When I have a lot of thoughts, I just write them.
Makes it real.
Puts it in a page.
Tangible.
It's tangible, materialistic, and then just close it. And I think that lets me move on from that thought.
I was gonna say I love when people say it. I hate it when they say it, but I love to laugh at when people say, "Oh, I don't need to write anything. I got it in my head." It's like,
it's not
how you do things.
And so how do the motivators of the inner circle find motivation?
Fuck.
What do you mean?
Start. I'm gonna let you start.
Matic has a bar about being the motivator of the inner circle, but I kind of want to take that a step back and like, how did you guys push yourselves for motivation? Because I like one of my favorite quotes is I think like motivation is like a shower. You need it every day.
Yeah.
So nobody's gonna sit down and tell you, hey, you gotta take a shower. But you need a different source of motivation. Every day can be every day. Yo, I want an X car. I want a house.
Right.
That's gonna grow tired in the next 24 hours. Motivation every day is, yo, I want to be at this level. I want to be at this spot. I gotta get this. I need this bill taken care of. Like motivation comes from different sources. It comes from places of jealousy, places of envy, places of going, I should be in that position. Why don't I have that? Or places of desperation, of damn, the bills, the light. So. I just kind of want to pick your brains about that. Like, how do you guys motivate yourselves? Because you guys, it's cool doing it dolo and being alone with music and art, but you guys have each other to feed off and like that. So.
Yeah, I think the main motivator is having someone being accountable, like on me, because like when we first started like our like relationship with the career that we're doing now, it's like. All right, we have a job to do. We have our roles.
Responsibility.
Exactly. So, like, for example, like I have to mix 2 songs of him by the end of this week, pretty much. So, like, I have to make sure I make time for it, and like plan it out through my week and shit. And if I don't get it done, I feel that down. Exactly.
That's
great. When it comes to that too, like I feel like, I guess the way that I motivate him is by just keep going.
Right.
Like just doing it because
if he stopped, I feel like I would have to be the one to bring him back up, but it's at the same time like I don't know if I have that.
But he's not stopping, so
not,
you can't even think about that. So you
I don't.
How can I let him down? And vice versa. You're subconsciously,
like,
maybe subconsciously or not, you're
can't stop because if I stop, exactly. So like I feel, I think Willie was telling me that we went straight. I don't know how many podcasts we did last year. We went straight like doing Matic Mondays.
I think it was every week.
Every week for a whole year, and then I remember consistently I did every Monday I will record no matter what, just rinse repeat, and I think I did over 100 songs within the year, just rinse repeat, and I think that momentum creates that I guess that motivation, and you just it's a ball. You just got to keep on rolling.
It's like going to the gym. You already went. You already went 3 months. You might as well keep going.
But it compounds. That's the thing. The compounding gains. 3 months. Imagine the 3 months results. Imagine 6 months. Imagine 12 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine 12 months with eating clean. It's like, yo, it's crazy.
I think that's another motivator for me. Is like I just like tech. I'm just a fan of like tech in general.
That's a huge part of this. So
that's why I enjoy doing the engineering, because it gives me experience, and then I get to like do something for somebody.
Yeah,
and create a fucking product.
I wouldn't know how to fix. Like I think within the year, thanks to like being honed, because he had the knowledge, but like obviously he didn't have the studio. So now that he created that studio, he was able to I guess
apply the knowledge.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing. It's one thing to book knowledge, but it's another thing hands-on knowledge and learning. Exactly. This is what that does. That's
and I don't stop like watching videos, like learning new techniques and shit. I'm just always looking for new things, how to do it, and I'm just like, it's fun. I don't know. It's fun.
No such thing as a prime, bro. I followed this positivity kind of like Kaizen something positivity. It's all like DBZ.
Oh yeah. I follow it too. Yeah. It's just hard.
Awesome.
It's just hard.
I saw some shit a couple weeks ago, and it's like there's no such thing as a prime, and it's like, bro, it's so true. Yeah, maybe you have a physical prime, but that's not my financial prime. That's not my emotional prime. That's not my spiritual prime. That's not my familiar prime. Like me with kids is gonna be a different animal than me at 30 years old without kids. Just being young, dumb, trying to figure out episode 36 of my podcast.
Self-improvement does not have an age, bro.
Facts, dog.
Self-improvement does not have an age, bro.
Big facts.
And I think that's also why I keep pushing, because like every time I do a new mix, I'm like, I gotta do better next time. Like how can I do better next time? What should I have done better?
Inventory. Shout out Ross Mandel. But yeah, he said that on our conversation. He said that it's a big thing to do an inventory of yourself. How did I do today with my conversation? How did I do it today on this podcast? Could I have asked Brent more questions? Did I, could I have gone deep into the music? Yeah, you gotta just be real with yourself. And I my response to him was like, that takes being mature, because a lot of people don't want to focus on your negatives. You kind of want to just bury it in the back and escape do drugs and forget about all the bad shit. That's what everybody does. But the truth is, that doesn't make you better. That doesn't help you improve. That just makes you worse. That just continues, and if anything, create more problems. Trying to hide the shit you don't want to face.
It piles up.
Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite Dragon Ball Z character?
Let you go.
Fuck you.
Why?
No. That's just like,
you put me out there.
That's just the way. That's just how I am. Anyway, I will say Vegeta.
Dope.
Vegeta's my guy.
That's dope. Okay.
Just because of the fact that he's always second, but he's always pushing.
Motivators. Yeah, cool. Like pushing. That's crazy.
Because he's always pushing the
Goku and everybody around him, truly. And like he pushes Goku like subconsciously by just being a dick, and then eventually they become dope and become squad.
Right.
At first it's like, yo, this guy's a dick. Yeah.
I don't know. I like Trunks. That's my boy.
Fire.
That's my boy.
When I thought about asking you guys that question, I asked myself, I was like, everybody could say Goku because he's the main character, but I think Future Trunks, that whole storyline, like I recently,
that's just raw.
Because I saw it as a kid, but I kind of forgot it. I recently saw like the tragedy of like Gohan dies in his world and he comes back to like warn everybody, like, that's a real one, dog.
Yeah, bro.
It's a real one, bro.
Yeah, bro. Going through that traumatic shit, like I think, I did the same. Like I saw it when I was little, but now seeing it. Like
it hits different.
Yeah, it hits different. Yeah, you start seeing every little thing, and also seeing like how Vegeta's growth, and the step. And I think there's a line where he turns into Majin Vegeta, and then he says like, of course, like Goku was asking him, why do you take upon this? Like, what's going on? He's like, I had to do it because, like everything I do, for more that I train, I can't beat you. So I wanted to show. This is the only way that I could beat you. You're superior than me, and that's not fair, and whatever. Like showing that how leveling the playing field. So it shows like this guy like, I don't know. Like I just seen like the cues. Now,
Vegeta admitting that, because that took his whole character arc, and then it wasn't until he finally had the power to be better than Goku for him to admit it. Yeah, I had to cheat to beat you, but whatever. That's crazy. That's a crazy perspective. Look, hearing you talk about it makes it makes sense why that writing's so powerful for us as kids. Look, I got goosebumps. That's dope. That's dope. And so, what comes first for you, Matic? Well, rapping right before making beats. Beats comes kind of as like an add-on, or did you try making beats before?
No, Well, no, yes. Well, writing came first
Yeah.
for me. Making beats came later. But I always had a thing for music wise. I always had a thing. I think like melody wise, I started like fucking around with melodies. I tried making beats on my own through FL Studio and all that stuff, but I didn't know the terminologies. I didn't know nothing. I did the technical side. I didn't know anything of it. And then he started making beats, obviously, when we got together and stuff like that. And then we spread out. And then when I discovered GarageBand, I started seeing how
After you guys linked up, you started making the beats. You mean?
After we linked up, and we all went our separate ways. COVID happened and whatever. I started making my own beats.
You didn't have him around to make the beats anymore.
Exactly. So I was like, but that was another thing too that even my girl's dad and his friend were saying, like, you can be self-sufficient. Yeah, you can be self-sufficient.
Figure it out. Don't let it hold you back.
Exactly. You got it. There's no reason why you should be crying here on the side and be like, well, I can't do this, I can't do that.
And he's a house DJ. Can we shout him out? Does he have like a public name?
TVO.
DJ TVO or just
DJ TVO. DJ
Shout out
TVO.
DJ TVO. Have you gotten on any of his stuff? Have you rapped on any of his stuff yet?
There was one that's kind of like a meditation thing that he did and actually got sold, I believe, and stuff like that. But I've been helping him with mixing stuff. He also helps him with mixing stuff because he uses Logic, so he uses the same DAW. And then I also help him like create tracks. There's another track that they played recently on a boat, and the fucking people were asking for it, so I'm part of that production too. So it's like crazy because we kind of like both, because I like that music too. It's a time for everything. You're in the boat, you're in the beach, you want to hear that music. I don't know, just saying like that. But for production wise, I always help him too. Before I left, he was like, "Oh, can you come through? This is not sounding, the piano's not." It's like that. So it's crazy. But
that's cool, man. That's a great ability to be able to connect on that. That's
but I would have never think a relationship would be like that.
And what's up with do you speak French? Because you have a whole you have a record with like a French.
No, that's the name of the sample. That's the name of the sample.
Oh, that's the name of the sample.
Angels.
Angels.
Right?
Angels.
Jealous of
Yeah. I knew it.
Yeah, and at the end it has that sample, and I believe it says like, I thought I knew, but now I thought I didn't know, but now I know. That's what I said, and that's why I put I didn't know. No, I didn't know, because of the sample in French. I was able to like find out what it was, so I put it in.
Nice.
Dope.
I didn't know that.
No, I mean that shit. I wish I knew fucking French.
So cool. You talked earlier about a project that you may want to do. Are you guys like working on singles right now? Is there like a big like group?
So right now we're working on singles. I believe we have singles lined up, I guess, for myself right now, all the way till June or July. Conductions was one of the ones that got the main mistakes, and Conductions were the ones that were in the pocket. And then we got, I think, 4 to 5 more. And then he has a project that we sadly lost because he had an accident with his computer. Cat stumbled on,
Spill soda on it.
So we lost
What kind of soda?
It was orange soda.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Crush.
that crush.
That crush. God
That
damn
crush.
it. Crushed me.
So, but he has the MP3s.
Yeah, because I was working on that album while he was releasing the whole last year. Like, I was working on that, and like I was almost done.
Well, guess what? It might be lost temporarily, but it's not forever. It's not. It's not
no, because now I've kind of like remastered it in a way.
Okay.
So I kind of already like have like the final touches to do it. So yeah, it's almost done.
It should be rolling out by May, I believe we said.
Yeah,
May 15, May 14. So
Something
that's
like
the
that,
plan.
yeah.
That's on the right now. So we're working on. We have a performance on April 12th. A Catalyst. He's gonna be performing. I've been trying to perform every month at least once for this year. It's been 4 months. Yeah, it's been four performances.
Today, 4 months, yeah.
Yeah, and then we're gonna try as soon as he rolls out that release for that mixtape. It's gonna be the mixtape.
You guys got a name for it yet? The project?
It's called Escape.
Escape.
Yeah, I'll send you a song before we leave so you can hear it. Yeah, how many songs is it? 9 songs?
It's 9 songs.
Yeah,
9
Good
songs.
number.
So yeah, for real. Someone told me that 8 is a good number too.
It's a good number. Shout out Kobe. R.I.P.
Shut up.
Big 3. But yeah, that's what we got right now. And then obviously the album that I want to work on, I won't start working on it. I'm just piecing up all the pieces. But we won't start fully working on it after we're done with, I guess, May, because I want to have that month to not only let him concentrate on that, but also pull full force onto what he's doing. And then June, July will be probably preparation towards the album. My birthday's August 18, So August is kind of like my celebration month, but that doesn't mean I don't stop working. So I think August, September, October will be the months where I really lock in and create something, and then hopefully release it by the end of the year.
Okay. And so any ideas for the follow-up to Escape, for what you would call it?
Shit, I mean, I don't know. That's
there's a few songs that already kind of sound like it's part of a new project,
but just don't know what it would be called yet.
Yeah,
but you know that's something.
Yeah, cool. I'm kind of thinking of this concept of like, because Escape is more like, you know, trying to escape your situation, escape your, like, it's themes on like escape anything that you're dealing with, like how we were saying earlier about hiding your thoughts and shit and drowning it out. And then now I'm thinking about like reflections, like looking in the mirror and like facing yourself, you know, and really just like dealing with that.
That's funny.
And with that yeah.
My first project is Reflections.
Yeah.
So that's
it's full circle. One thing I learned about Reflections, completely off topic, but or kind of not really, but you can't see your reflection in boiling water. Isn't that freaking crazy? And it was a more metaphorical quote where it's like the same way you can't see your reflection in boiling water, don't let like a bad moment, you know, dictate how you feel about yourself, because you know it's one bad thing. That's not a clear perspective or filter of you.
Or even when you're angry, like you're not thinking clearly.
Boiling water. It's not a clear reflection of
perception of you.
So and that was more the message. The message. It was more telling you to not be in that state, because that's not yourself. That was the message behind that. I'll drop it here.
Damn.
And I have a segment because you've got records with Curly Jake, records with Brent together. Is there anybody you guys would like to shoot your? You actually have a cameo, a visual audio cameo from LL Cool J on a record too.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait,
what?
You
do. You have the part where it says, "Mama said knock you out."
Oh yes, over 9,000. Yes, I do. Shit.
I thought you said LL Cool J was.
I was like, shut up, I do.
Damn. That's crazy.
We made it.
Who are some people in the industry you guys would like to shoot your shot at and work with that you haven't connected with yet? Some people, big names, local names, whatever you guys would like to do.
Well, right now, go
locally. Yeah, we're trying to work with this guy named Evans. He lives around here.
Yes.
I think
we saw him perform at Tacos and Tattoos on a performance, and then he got, I don't want to say trashed, but he got called out by one of the jurors, right?
Like the judges, you mean?
The judges, yeah. The judges that were there. Court? Yeah, juries, sorry. The judges, he got called out. The guy plainly told him, like, yo, you suck.
No way.
It was kind of fucked up. Because obviously the style of music that he was going for may have not been the right one for
the
that
venue,
night.
for the arena,
right. But then I told him on the side, because he was fucking with my performance. So I told him, I was like, bro, don't let that discourage you, man. If that's what you want to do, you know, go ahead and do it, bro.
Real shit, yeah.
And I went back to his catalog, and then we both realized this guy's
good.
Fucking good. You know, he sings, raps. You know, this guy's all, you know, full blown catalog. You know, and I was like, damn, you know, we got to connect with this guy. So. Very humble experience. That don't ever judge a book by its cover. You never know.
Facts. That's really cool. That you
bro.
Say that.
I've been hitting him up, so like we haven't had a chance because we've just been so locked in on doing our own thing. But I know he's also busy too doing his own project. So, but
he's gonna hear this in a couple weeks, so for sure you guys might have something done by then. If not, this will definitely make it happen.
Well,
what about you? Right? Anyone you'd like to work with? Besides Evans already, because that's in the
I want to work with pretty much everybody in Miami locally. Dope. But if I would have like a dream, collab, I would say like maybe Earth Gang or JID. That would be dope.
That's cool.
Hell yeah,
that's really cool.
That'd be sick as fuck.
Damn,
you got any industry names?
JID.
They're listening.
Awesome.
JID would be nasty.
I mean, local. I'll start local. Local wise, Docious. You know King Docious?
King Docious, yeah,
bro. We have a song together, but we're always working because I just love that guy's energy, bro. Shout out to him.
Love
man. Let's see. Well, Renee, we already been working with. Rogue Science, Chef and Jefe. We don't have a track together, but they're sick. They're gonna be performing also at Catalyst, which I'm saying you should come through.
Dope.
Let's see. Well, Doja, we're already working with. Awesome. Shout out to Doja. The Shadow League, because they're gonna go on tour right now with Currency. It's awesome. Estebang, that's the guy.
Bang, new album just dropped today.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I heard it. I was texting him today, bro. I love the fact that it was simple but straight through the point. You know, everything was hitting. You know, like I just felt it. Jordan's Crew, which is just much appreciation. I'm working right now on a project that should be almost full to fruition. Like kind of like putting all local logos in a shirt, you know, and just promoting it.
On a shirt altogether?
Yeah, on a shirt, like patches of like, you know, I don't know if that makes sense.
The
like,
logos?
The logos of everyone, like for example, like you have WVCC. You have right, yeah, H. Shout out to H. Rogue Science. Shout out to Rogue Science. Shadow Lee Records.
So the logos of everybody.
All the logos, kind of like making it look like a patch, and I wanted to put it in a full, and almost like in a
collage.
Like a collage all together. I have a logo that I came up with was Miami Hip Hop County, and I wanted to make that. I'm actually in the process of we're in the process of trademarking that, and then I have obviously Matic on the bottom. I'll show it to you, and then I have Deeper the Music, because I believe that all of us within, and all the people that are there that show up to those shows and whatever.
I'm gonna drop it for them right here.
It's all Deeper the Music. I feel like we all have that vision. You know, it's Deeper the Music. So I have that project within. So I that's another person or guys that I would like to work with. Because I feel like we all have the same vision when it comes to music, and it's all Deeper the Music. So.
Facts. Music's just an extension of who we are. That's not what we are. You know, we make music, but we're not just a musician. You know?
I feel like
Pharrell will be another one.
Pharrell would be a
great
song.
For real. Yeah. We end every episode with a big three. I try to let the conversation dictate where the big three goes. And then sometimes the conversation is so good and kind of all over the place. It's hard to pinpoint one thing, and I try not to repeat stuff we've done in the past. But then I have a bank of there's low-key a list of a bunch of big three ideas that I made before I even started doing the podcast. I barely go back to this list ever.
Okay.
So I'm gonna. How do you guys feel about cereal?
Cereal, damn.
I like cereal.
What was that reaction? I was like,
I haven't had cereal in a minute.
Same.
You know, like,
me neither. Me neither.
You know.
But growing up, cereal was the shit.
Yeah, cereal was the shit.
So we're gonna freaking draft the big three goat cereals of all time. There's a lot to pick from. A lot of different flavors and strains. But we're gonna start from right to left.
I would say
start one at a time, and whatever you pick, we can't pick. So it's draft style.
Oh, got you. Okay, I would say Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Fire, great. That's S tier. That's an S tier pick.
S-tier.
That's really good. What's your number one pick?
Bro, what's the name of that fucking the tiger?
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, bro.
Shout out Tony, my dog.
Tony.
That's a great.
That's the man, bro. That's
low
the
key.
man.
How's Tony and Tigger from like Winnie the Pooh? How are they not related? It's just
I think
they should be. They should collab.
They should definitely collab. That might be like his son type shit. It's like a legitimate son.
Yo,
like his Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
You know what?
Who's the son?
Tigger would be the son, I think, and Tony's the.
Tigger came way before Tony the Tiger.
Fun fact: did you guys know?
Might be his grandpa or some shit.
Tigger came way before Tony the Tiger. You're sure?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Winnie the Pooh.
70s or whatever the fuck. Winnie the Pooh was
it's like the
30s.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because it's a
30s
Shakespearean literature piece.
No, it's Walt Disney or whatever.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Shakespearean. But did you guys know Winnie the Pooh is all the characters are based on mental illnesses?
Oh yeah.
No way.
Tigger's
oh
ADHD,
yeah, I heard that. Yes.
Eeyore the press guy. The rabbit OCD, cleaning all the time.
Oh shit.
Winnie is fucking
it's
obesity.
All mental health issues.
It's like this movie Inside Out.
That one's doper. I love Inside Out.
Inside Out is fucking amazing.
And that's in your face though. That's like they tell you, no, this is depression.
That's the emotion.
Yes.
I saw part 2 on a flight. Yeah, it's
another movie talking about that. Winnie the Pooh 1926.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another movie I was gonna say was Soul.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Soul is so good.
It's very music related, right? It's very music. I haven't seen it yet.
Beautiful, very
beautiful.
Pixar is something that I can say that they haven't missed when it comes with movies regarding that, because, like, for example, with Soul, it tells a story of, which is why I kind of like, I guess, connects to that Death Don't Give Any Two Notice, because he passes. The guy is a teacher.
Afterlife.
It's a teacher that he wanted to pursue music. His father played jazz.
His soul.
And he dies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but he dies, and then they started showing how everything in the soul is connected to your passion. So they started seeing how, for example, they show someone playing the piano and they get into this flow state, and that's how you reach the soul.
Wow.
So that's how the soul gets activated. So I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
super
it's amazing.
Super dope.
That's when you're at your most natural state, like when you're.
It's with Jamie Foxx.
That's dope.
He's the
voice.
He's the voice.
Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, way to get off topic for the
pick.
Sorry. My first pick, dog. Man, I'm gonna say Cocoa Puffs, because even though it scratches the top of your mouth, there's nothing like.
Nah, I get
Puffs.
Milk.
It's fire. Yeah, you let it soak. It's different
Yeah,
stages. You
that's
like
true.
the beginning where it's violent and it hurts your mouth and you're like, it's so
But then
good.
that-
Ouch.
Cocoa Puffs.
Krispies. That's my second pick of Diddles.
Puffs is the circles. Yeah.
Yeah, Cocoa Puffs are the
Yeah, not
little chocolate
Pebbles,
balls,
not the
not
Pebbles.
Diddy's favorite. The regular cereal.
Chill.
Yo, man, what's your number?
I like the
2
chocolate
pick?
milk too. Sorry. Pause. Damn. I'm gonna say honey bunches.
Damn, that's a sleeper
Fire.
pick.
That's just
That's
fire.
a sleeper pick.
That
Honey
shit's so
buns. I don't
good.
even think I've ever ate honey
That
buns
shit-
with milk. I think I've only ate it like dry cereal, like when they
With
give
the
it like
little granola shits.
Wow.
Stupid fire.
Okay.
That was my go-to.
With a little bit of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy pick. Very impressive. What do you got for a number 2 pick?
Oh my god.
You got some Venezuelan cereals or something?
No, I'm trying to remember because I didn't have cereal. Fuck that. It was bread and fucking eggs.
Oh shit! I'll let that slide for a second.
Bread,
The
bread.
80s Venezuela had all the American cereals, though.
Yeah, we did.
Fire.
We did. It was
Oh,
fucking
he was
crazy.
born to
You used
98,
ship it
so.
all over there, I'm telling you, bro.
Fucking, what was the name of I used to eat them a lot, so I ended up fucking liking them. The fucking one with the B. I forget the.
Oh, with the bee, honey Cheerios.
honeycomb?
Come on, that's a great.
Yeah, for real. That's just
I didn't like
delicious.
them at first.
Yeah.
I think
Then
it
started
gets
liking them.
hate because it's very simple and the health. I think a lot of people hate on
Yeah.
it, but dog, that's a
That's just
go-to.
But I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I
I
think
used
it's
to
goated.
pound 3-4
That's
bowls
fire.
back to back
Yeah.
to back.
Goat
Goated.
cereal, right?
It's a
That is
goated
definitely
cereal.
And
Hell yeah.
actually, I think
Honey
it's
Bunches
better.
of Oats and Honey Cheerios
It's
is
better than
fire.
the Kellogg's, the one that I
Special
mentioned.
K?
Yeah, it's better actually as far as ingredient goes.
More healthier.
Oh, healthier,
Really?
yeah.
It's healthier.
Yeah, damn.
It's heart healthy.
Then
Yeah, it's heart healthy.
My dad
Then
goes,
cereal?
"Heart health."
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, bro. Because
Shit.
I think they even tied down that cereal to have issues with like ADHD, to create issues with ADHD and stuff like that on kids.
Chico, listen.
Wow.
The way I'm gonna kill the draft right now, but when I was growing up, are you guys familiar with World Star?
Yeah, of course.
Man, they came out with a World Star video. Bro, it's like very conspiracy. It has like a ominous instrumental playing in the background, and it's a science experiment. You can find it to this day. I'll put a thumbnail of it right here. And it's this dude like dressed like a scientist, and what he does is he gets a bag of cornflakes. He puts it in a blender, blends it all, and then he puts magnets in a Ziploc bag with the blended cornflakes. And then after X amount of time, you see a bunch of metals go to the magnets. And the whole point of the video is there's metal shavings in cereal.
Oh,
So,
shit.
yes, although we're telling you the best cereals of all time, we are educating you
That's
that
what
you're
I'm
killing
saying.
yourself.
I
by
mean,
eating
yeah,
cereal.
they have like iron and shit. So yeah.
I hear that all the time now, and I don't know if that's the justification for this is the
okay,
iron in your
okay.
body, but
Yeah, but
homie,
you can
what?
create that
Yeah.
creates just poisoning inside of your bloodstream.
Iron,
Yeah.
That's not the same. Yeah, that those are
Yeah,
metal
that's
shavings.
wild.
the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Iron
No, you're
is
right,
red,
you're
if
right.
I'm not mistaken. It's supposed to be red, which is why our blood cells are red.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's insane.
back to unhealthy cereals. My second pick are Cocoa Krispies because that Snap Crackle Pop, it's dope. And that's another cereal that I'm noticing like Cocoa Puffs. There's like levels to it. Like at the first, it's fresh and you hear like the instrumental. And you're like, yo, it's just we're just talking to each other. And then after it's kind of like its normal state. And then at the end when it's soggy, that's fire too. Sometimes you just eat shit. Like I was a kid, I'd be playing video games. And oh shit, my cereal.
Yo, bro,
Yeah.
My fat self, I justify. Oh, I couldn't even enjoy the middle state, so let me go get another ball. Woe is me.
And you would think it's not a lot, but then you freaking load that shit
It
up.
adds up. It adds up, and bro. And like, I looking back on it, like I'd have a visual, like I'd fill the bowl up to the top with just cereal raw, and then that's when you add the milk. And then the milk is like a level of where like it's just right there, kind of like where you stop the microwave right before it hits one. It's kind of like you stop the milk right there. Yo,
sweet spot.
dog, I would kill myself eating cereal. Bro.
Jesus.
Picture of me as a factor right here. 90% of cereal, dog. At least 80%. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And now last pick, last.
Fuck, I don't got one.
Yeah, I'm not.
You done with cereals?
Does Pop-Tarts count?
I'll let it slide. All right, specialty.
Yeah,
the third
right.
pick will be a specialty pick.
Nah, if I would have to pick one, I would say, damn.
They shitted on cereal. Now they don't want to pick cereal.
maybe Oreos. Back
Wow,
then,
that's a great pick.
I would say that one.
Shout out my prom date, Alondra. She put me onto some fat shit when we were in high school as fat, not fat because she was never fat, but we were stoners. And man, she did some high ass shit one time where she had regular Oreos and she crunched them all up with her hands. And she put them shits in a bowl with milk. And she's like, this is the most fire thing ever. It wasn't until like 3-4 years later, after high school, that I was like, you know what, man? I remember Alondra did that, dog. And it's crazy they don't have an Oreo cereal. They did. I don't know why I didn't think to get it. But I did that, and that was like a treat for me for like a whole year.
Damn.
As a whole grown
Cereal's
man.
bad, boy. Oreos are really
Yeah.
Really bad, bro.
My dad just put a face like.
I won't give you a cereal, but I'll give you favorite ice cream, which is cookies and cream.
Damn.
I'm a fucking sucker for that shit.
That's crazy.
That's fucking. I know it's bad.
I thought you were gonna say Pop-Tarts and you were gonna say Hot Pockets.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
My third pick, I'm gonna bring it back to like some struggle food, like because they took Frosted Flakes, so you can't say Frosted Flakes.
But we're gonna go with the trifecta.
What's the
Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah.
Cocoa Pebbles.
Cocoa Puffs.
Yo, for
I would, but then I can't pick off straight chocolate.
Yo, for real.
Yeah, I can't pick off straight chocolate. But yeah, I'd be super fat.
That'd be super fat. That's diabetes.
That'd be diabetes, man, for real. So I ain't gonna lie though. One thing that I look back on, it's and low key in my mind, I would think I'd justify this by saying this is low key healthier than eating Frosted Flakes. So just to show you how brainwashed of a fat kid I was, I would get corn flakes, the not sugary Frosted Flakes, and then we'd add the condensed milk to that shit, and I'd be like, yeah, this is just to make it sweet because it's not Frosted Flakes, so just a little kick, just a little kick. Looking back on it now, it's like. Yeah, I was a lunatic. My parents gave me way too much trust. They're like, yeah, he's a smart kid. He gets good grades. Meanwhile, I'm here eating butter and back-to-back bowls of cereal.
Oh, my God.
Yo, I was a man.
That's wild.
That's
and then, dog, we end every episode with a message to the people. You guys are both two different human beings, so one message at a time. We've had a lot of messages in this hour and a half plus, but one thing we can leave the people with today.
Don't drown your thoughts. Write them down.
Shit. That's
Escape May 15th.
Fire.
Okay. It's easier than what you think. It's easier than what you think. That's all I'm gonna say. Whatever you want to do, it's easier than what you think. Just gotta do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it, man.
It's true.
Nike.
Hell yeah.
Like Nike, like my dad just said. And yeah, like so shout out Shia LaBeouf, even Steven too. And don't overthink it. It's not that complicated.
Not that complicated.
Life's too short, and live life as if you had a 2-week notice.
For real. That's true.
We'll see you next week.
Subscribe to the Heir Cast pod.
If you're not already. And check them out.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Sliding in the studio, my album coming soon. Until we get this rap